Let me take you into the kitchen, not the glamorous magazine ready version, but the one where daily decisions are made, where what you put on your plate can quietly shape your future. Now, imagine this. You're reaching for something healthy, something wholesome, lentils. Lentils, packed with plant protein, rich in fiber, low in fat. You feel good about it, right? But what if I told you that even a food as beneficial as lentils can become part of a dangerous mistake, one that's undermining your health without you even realizing it? This is the paradox we don't talk about enough. A good food can go bad, not on its own, but by who it's sitting next to on your plate. You see, lentils by themselves are a nutritional powerhouse. They support heart health, stabilize blood sugar, and even nourish your gut microbiome. And here's the twist. When they're paired with the wrong companion foods, they can create a cascade of biological reactions that work against your body, not with it. Especially as we age, the margin for error shrinks. Our bodies become more sensitive. Our digestion slows down. Enzymes decline. And what used to feel fine at 30 can become a source of inflammation, fatigue, and discomfort at 60. Here's what's really happening. When you combine lentils with high oxalate vegetables, or pair them with heavy fats and tannin-rich beverages, you're setting off internal conflicts that your body has to work overtime to resolve. Let's break this down scientifically. Lentils contain natural compounds called phytates. These compounds are like tiny nutrient thieves. They bind to essential minerals like iron, calcium, and zinc and escort them out of your body before they can be absorbed. Now, that's manageable if your diet is balanced. But when you add foods high in oxalates like spinach or beets or heavy animal fats that delay gastric emptying, the digestive environment becomes hostile. Absorption tanks, bloating rises, nutrients are lost. And slowly, silently, your body begins to starve at the cellular level. Even if you're eating a full plate of food, the biggest danger, you won't notice this right away. There are no loud alarms. But over time, the signs creep in, subtle, stubborn signs. Fatigue that lingers after rest. Joints that ache without injury. A brain that fogs under routine tasks. You might blame age, but this isn't age. This is accumulation. A slow burn of biological friction caused by mismatched foods that you thought were healthy. And here's where the empowerment begins. Once you understand that the combination matters just as much as the ingredients themselves, you unlock control. You begin to eat with precision, with wisdom, and with confidence. It's not about restriction, it's about alignment, about choosing foods that cooperate in your body, not compete. The body is an orchestra, and when your meals are in harmony, you don't just survive, you thrive. The next time you prepare a meal with lentils, pause. Ask not just, is this healthy, but is this harmonious? Because your health deserves more than just good food. It deserves the right food together. Picture this moment. You've carefully prepared a beautiful meal, perhaps a warm bowl of lentil stew paired with a side of creamy cheese or a generous serving of yogurt. It looks comforting, nourishing, the very image of wholesome eating. You sit down feeling confident you're taking care of your body. But here's a hidden reality that almost no one talks about. Some of the healthiest foods you can choose are also the ones most capable of canceling out each other's benefits when combined in the wrong way. This is especially true when it comes to the silent conflict between lentils and calcium-rich foods. Every time you pair lentils with dairy, you engage in what I call an invisible nutritional standoff. Lentils are high in phytates, naturally occurring compounds that act like chemical magnets, binding to minerals in your digestive tract. When these phytates meet the calcium in your cheese, yogurt, or milk, they lock onto it, forming complexes that are simply too big to pass through your intestinal wall. That calcium you believed was fortifying your bones and protecting you from osteoporosis, it's carried away, unused, out of your body. No symptoms, no obvious warning sign, just the quiet erosion of a foundation your health depends on. For older adults, this process has even more serious implications. As we age, our bone density naturally decreases. The body's ability to absorb calcium becomes less efficient. Our need for this mineral grows precisely when our digestive system becomes less forgiving. So every time we unknowingly pair phytate-rich lentils with dairy, we're tipping the scales further in the wrong direction. It doesn't happen overnight, but Over months and years, that deficit accumulates, chipping away at the strength of your bones. The wrist that fractures from a simple fall, the hip that breaks and changes your independence forever. These outcomes don't always start with traumatic injuries. They often start with tiny daily losses you can't feel. You might be wondering if these foods are individually so beneficial. Why hasn't anyone explained this before? The truth is, most nutrition advice focuses on the nutrients in isolation. We hear lentils are high in iron and fiber, and dairy is full of calcium and protein, but almost no one teaches us that these nutrients can clash when combined. It's a blind spot in popular health messaging, and it leaves too many people vulnerable to deficiencies they could avoid. Imagine the power of being aware of this simple principle. When you decouple lentils and calcium rich foods, you allow each nutrient to do its job fully. You nourish your bones without interference. You let your digestion work efficiently, and you give yourself the gift of strength that endures. Key TV. So before you reach for that side of dairy to accompany your lentils, pause. Remember that the strongest bones are built not just on what you eat, but how wisely you combine it. This is your opportunity to transform a hidden mistake into a daily practice of precision nutrition, one that protects you from the inside out. There's something incredibly powerful and equally fragile happening deep within you right now. It's not your heartbeat, it's not your breath, it's your gut. Often overlooked, rarely appreciated, the gut is more than a digestive tube. It's your body's immune engine, your second brain, and the front line of defense against disease. And yet, every day, through unintentional choices at the dinner table, many of us are waging a silent war against it. One of the most common mistakes I see? The way lentils are combined with certain fatty or ultra-processed foods, unknowingly triggering inflammation, discomfort, and long-term damage to the microbiome. Lentils on their own are a gift to the gut. They're full of prebiotic fiber, feeding beneficial bacteria and supporting the balance of your microbiome. But when lentils are paired with high-fat meats, like sausages, bacon, or fried poultry, or combined with heavily fried foods, their positive effects are blunted and even reversed. Instead of supporting gut health, that meal may start to promote the growth of harmful bacteria, encouraging dysbiosis, an imbalance that opens the door to inflammation, poor digestion, and weakened immunity. This isn't just about indigestion. Instead of harmony, there's chaos, leading to bloating, cramping, irregular bowel movements, and a growing discomfort that you start to normalize, but shouldn't. Worse still, the accumulation of inflammatory compounds from processed meats like nitrates, nitrites, and advanced glycation end products, AGE, can further irritate the gut lining. These compounds not only disrupt the microbiota, but begin to compromise the very structure of the intestinal barrier. Over time, this increases the risk of what we call leaky gut, a condition where unwanted substances pass from the intestines into the bloodstream, triggering systemic inflammation that can affect your joints, brain, heart, and more. It's not dramatic, it's not loud, but it's persistent. And in older adults whose immune defenses are already declining, the consequences are amplified. But here's the empowering part. You're not helpless in this. Every meal is a new opportunity to recalibrate. Lentils don't need to be paired with meats to be satisfying. When you combine them with vegetables, herbs, olive oil, and gentle spices, you support your gut's healing. You invite imbalance, reduce inflammation, and improve digestion naturally. You transform your gut into a healing terrain, not a battleground. So the next time you cook lentils, ask yourself, are you feeding your gut or fighting it? Your microbiome is listening to every bite. And when you give it what it truly needs, your entire body responds with vitality, clarity, and strength. That's not just eating, that's a form of cellular respect. There's a moment, often unnoticed, that happens after a meal when your blood sugar quietly rises. If your meal was balanced, it will rise gently and come back down with ease. But if your choices were off, that rise becomes a spike, and that spike becomes a pattern. And over time, that pattern becomes a threat. This is the silent cycle too many people fall into without realizing, especially when combining lentils, one of the healthiest foods available, with the wrong culinary partners. The intention is right. The science is not. Lentils, by their nature, are a metabolic ally. They're rich in fiber, low in fat, and have a naturally low glycemic index. That means they help keep your blood sugar stable, and in doing so, they protect your insulin response. But when they're mixed with high glycemic or sugar rich ingredients, like white rice, sweetened sauces, or refined breads, that benefit disappears. The fiber in lentils tries to slow digestion, but the surge of glucose from the refined carbs overrides that effort. The result is blood sugar volatility, sharp rises followed by deep crashes. And here's what that actually feels like: a wave of sleepiness after a meal, a craving for more food even when you're full, a mood that shifts unpredictably. You're not just hungry or tired, you're biochemically destabilized. For older adults whose insulin sensitivity naturally declines with age, these swings become even more damaging. Over time, they stress the pancreas, exhaust beta cells, and increase the risk of insulin resistance, a silent prelude to type 2 diabetes. Many people assume that because they're eating lentils, they're safe. But health isn't just about what you eat, it's about how your body handles it. And your body doesn't process nutrients in isolation, it responds to context. A bowl of lentils with leafy greens, lemon juice, and olive oil supports balance. But that same bowl, drowned in sugary tomato chutney, or served alongside a large portion of white rice or sweetened yogurt, becomes a biochemical ambush. Even more concerning, frequent blood sugar spikes trigger low-grade inflammation and accelerate aging at the cellular level. So they damage blood vessels, impair cognition, and lead to a slow erosion of resilience. That mental fog you chalk up to age, or that sudden energy crash mid-afternoon, it's not inevitable. A heaviness in the body that makes even routine tasks feel strangely overwhelming. If you felt this, especially as you've gotten older, it's easy to blame age, stress, or a busy life. But what if I told you that part of this lingering fatigue might be caused by the way you're combining your food? Specifically, the way you're pairing lentils with other everyday items that quietly block your body's ability to absorb iron, leaving you depleted, even when your diet looks healthy on paper. Lentils are rich in non-heme iron, the plant-based form of iron that's essential for oxygen transport in your blood. But non-heme iron is fragile. Unlike the iron from red meat, it needs help to be absorbed efficiently. And here's the trap. When you consume lentils with foods that contain high levels of polyphenols, like black tea, green tea, cocoa, red wine, or even certain leafy greens like spinach, those polyphenols bind to the iron and make it nearly impossible for your body to absorb. You're putting good food into your system, but it's going right through you without delivering its most vital benefit. In clinical terms, what's happening is a form of competitive inhibition in your gut. The polyphenols and iron are fighting for the same cellular transport systems. Guess who wins? The inhibitors. The result? Iron deficiency that builds slowly day by day. And over time, what you feel is more than just tired. It's a drop in vitality, mental clarity, and even immune strength. Your body isn't just running low on energy. It's running low on oxygen because iron is what helps your red blood cells deliver oxygen to every tissue. Older adults are especially vulnerable here. As we age, our digestive efficiency diminishes, stomach acid declines, and our ability to extract micronutrients from food becomes weaker. If iron absorption is already impaired, then adding inhibitory food combinations just amplifies the problem. What's worse is that the symptoms of mild to moderate iron deficiency can mimic normal aging, but they're not normal. They're preventable. Here's where we reclaim control. Instead of drinking tea or wine with your lentil-based meals, space them out. Allow a 2-hour window, especially if you've been feeling drained or foggy lately. And consider pairing your lentils with vitamin C-rich foods like tomatoes, bell peppers, or citrus. Not only do they brighten your plate, but they actively enhance the absorption of non-heme iron. This isn't a diet. This is strategic nourishment. What you put in your body should work for you, not against you. And with the right combinations, you can turn each meal into a precise, targeted step toward greater energy, sharper focus, and more resilience. The next time you prepare lentils, ask yourself not just what you're eating, but what you're empowering your body to do. Because your energy isn't just about rest, it's about what your cells are given to thrive.